You're listening to Systemic Error Podcast. The failure was designed.
Republican blast Trump for creating a circular firing squad for GOP, based on an article by Sarah K. Burris. Republicans want voter restrictions. They don't want the responsibility. The bill is not the story. The reporting says the White House is pressing Senate Republicans to move the Save America Act before recess, while John Cornyn and John Thune are publicly snapping back because the votes are not there. That is the whole plot. A party demanding voter restrictions it cannot actually pass, then trying to turn its own legislative failure into a grievance against someone else. Power sits with the people issuing the demands. Actual institutional power in this story is concentrated in the Trump White House and the Senate Republican leadership. Karoline Leavitt is not just a press secretary here. She is the mouthpiece for an executive branch trying to force the pace of a bill that Senate Republicans cannot deliver. Cornyn's complaint that Thune cannot simply command the conference is the confession buried inside the drama. The caucus is fragmented, the arithmetic is bad, and the president's will is not law. The blame game is deliberate. Thune's response tries to shift the burden outward, toward Democrats and the filibuster, as if procedural obstruction were the central issue rather than the substance of the bill itself. That is misdirection. The reported obstacle is not confusion, it is political resistance to a voter restriction scheme that does not have enough support to survive the Senate. Calling that inaction is a rhetorical laundering of failure. This is what authoritarian politics looks like in practice. The Save America Act is not described here as a neutral administrative fix. It is described as voter restrictions, with House Republicans even trying to bribe compliance through a $10 billion fund tied to the law's provisions. That is the pattern. Constrain access, dress it up as election integrity, and then act outraged when the machinery of government does not instantly accommodate the project. The damage is not accidental. It is the point. Republican conflict is not the headline, it is the symptom. Cornyn's circular firing squad line is useful only if you ignore what the circle is around. The conflict is not over democratic principle. It is over how aggressively to impose anti-voter rules and how to handle the embarrassment when the votes are missing. Trump, Leavitt, Thune, Cornyn, and Paxton are all operating inside the same anti-democratic framework. They are fighting over tactics and timing, not over whether suppressing the electorate is acceptable. The larger pattern. This story is a reminder that modern Republican governance often runs on coercion first, competence second, and blame management third. When they cannot force a result, they stage a public quarrel and hope the spectacle substitutes for power. It does not. What it does reveal is the party's deeper dependence on restricting participation when it cannot persuade the public to choose it freely. You've been listening to Systemic Error. Thanks to Alternet for today's article. With the automated voice of Clara, thanks for listening.